Hello all, this is David from Sunward Hobbies, here to review a new Tamiya kit this time. Fresh off the assembly line, it is their 1/35th scale Leopard 2A6 Ukraine edition. Quick background, the Leopard has been Germany's mainline tank for, well, since the 70s. Still works well with the needs of their army. This particular version was exported for some sort of conflict in the Balkans, I don't know. This kit is a rebox of the Leopard 2A6 that they released around 2003. So we'll take a look inside and see how different or similar it is. First part here, the lower hull. You got this sprue here with a two tank crewmen. I believe one is a driver and the other is the commander. You've also got the cannon on this turret, or this sprue, excuse me. And it is in two halves. Very small decal sheet, just pretty much with insignias. This here is some extra bits that you get, some poly caps for the tires, a mesh sheet for the turret baskets. Looks like you get some film in there too, I believe for windows, and string as a tow cable. The sprue here, you've got the top half of the hull, where of course the turret and the crew access hatches sit. And again, like most tanks, you're not going to have much detail in the interior. Lawn side skirt. A different kind of cannon barrel. Some axles. The rear hull. Another crewman. And some extra details here and there. This would be the turret. Very nice detail. And it's faint, but it looks like there is a slight rough texture, an anti-slip texture to be precise. This would be the lower half of the turret. Looking pretty good so far. These two sprues are identical, So I'll just look at one. This is mostly just tires. As well as some axles and some toe cable eyelets. Again, nicely molded. Now this is old school. A nice lawn rubber track. You would of course wrap this around each and every tire. So if it's your preference or not, you don't have to attach each and every tread one by one. And this last sprue here, I imagine, is just more details. One thing you lovely viewers brought to my attention was that the ERAs are missing here. This is a Reeboks kit, so perhaps they just weren't able to add that detail here. But you guys are creative. I'm sure you could make them yourselves with some styrene plastic. And here is a map to show you how the completed tank will look with paint and all. And they call out Tamiya's spray paints. This is in the usual NATO, Western Europe temperate land scheme. Useless information. And well, these instructions aren't correct. This is for their original Leopard tank. So either we got a mistake, or they just didn't bother to print new instructions. It's as if they rushed this out to cash in on something. Anyway, open it up, get a bio of the tank. Next page, you get paint callouts. And then you start your construction. Here you start on the rear hull, move on to the tires and attaching the axles, as well as the suspension arms, and then the wheels go on. They also mention if you want these wheels to spin, do not glue them in place. Sorry, I realized I forgot this last sprue that was hiding in one of the bags. It is the clear parts. As you can see, there's barely any of them. This I find neat. It's goggles for the crewmen, but I'm normally used to 48 scale, so I never see stuff like that. But yeah, it's neat. Anyway, back to the instructions. So on next page, you start working on the hull. You attach the top half, and then you move on to adding little details like the driver's hatch, the headlight, and the mirror. Then the side skirts go on. Then you work on the rear view camera and the tow cable. And all the survival accessories go on top. And then you attach the tow cable to the rear of the tank. There will be 2 of them. And then here on the turret, you start attaching the windows for the gun sight. And then you move on to the tank barrel and attach that to the turret. And it doesn't look like they mention anything about the cannon being movable, so you'll just have to glue it in place. Then you add some more details onto the turret. Now the turret itself looks like it can be spinnable. And then you're adding some more parts to the turret, like the periscope and some armor plating on the side. Then here's where you use that included mesh for the turret basket. Those just attach to the side. And you're also adding in the loader's hatch. And I believe these are flares. Yeah, those will go on the side. Then basically some more added details on the turret, like the defensive machine gun. Some more of these, and please feel free to correct me if they are not flares. Tanks aren't my specialty, but I'm trying. And here's your commander and how they will be painted. And it looks like they are actually asking you to paint this tiny camouflage design. That is quite a feat if you can manage that. Now, since these instructions are the same one from the kit that this was reboxed from, then this is probably the standard German camouflage uniform for tank crewmen. So then you would attach the commander and the loader, that's who the other guy was, into their respective hatches, and then place the turret onto the hull. Now, I don't remember seeing road signs in the plastic parts. I'll take another quick look. Okay, yeah, these are them. There is no writing on them, however. So I guess perhaps this was for the original kit release as well, and it had decals for those, but this one doesn't. So I guess you just ignore that part. And then your construction's done. All you gotta do is paint it in the normal NATO camouflage scheme of NATO green, brown, and black. These are of course for German versions, so if you want this Ukrainian export version, then you would go back to this page from earlier. And yeah, basically the same camo, just different insignias on it. And there is the Ukrainian Leopard 2A sits. Now, I must admit, I find it a little chintzy of Tamiya to just recycle the exact same instruction booklet. But I suppose for some reason they were in a rush to release this. But nevertheless, the kit itself looks very nice, as does any Tamiya release. All the parts are very well molded and well detailed. And like I've said 100 times before, I'm sure it'll go together beautifully. And that's all I got to say about that. Feel free to pick one up for yourself at Sunward Hobbies, in store or online. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and until the next one, adios.